Welcome to the Pet Loss Journals podcast. I am your host Louise. This podcast is all about the reality and impact pet loss has on our lives, and I will be discussing my personal journey through pet loss. So if you are struggling on your own pet loss journey, then this is the podcast for you. Welcome to episode 8. I would just like to give a big thank you to everybody who has sent me really kind messages on Instagram and lovely emails and voice notes and everything after the Healing from Pet Loss webinar a couple of weeks ago. It was just amazing to be able to talk about all of these important topics over on that webinar that I did with Dr. Jen from Sage Paws. So a special thank you to all of you that were able to attend live and also that got to watch the recording. So for this week, I will be reading a journal entry from the 19th of February 2020. I'll just jump straight in. My life so far has been a complete and utter emotional roller coaster. I am aware that I have not been coping well with life in general. There is a massive void in my life, and no matter how many kilometres I walk or how many hours I work, nothing changes this void. I am empty without my dogs. I am trying to look after my health as much as possible, as my body is all I have left. And I love this body. It has endured such pain and such loss, and it still gets me up in the morning. That was my journal entry from 19th of February 2020. That was my reality, and when we delve into this journal entry just a little bit more, and I speak about this massive void, some of you may be feeling something similar in your life now at the minute that your pet or pets have passed away. This void, I describe, it just could not be filled with all of the kilometres I walked. And let me explain that the amount of walking that I did was off the Richter scale. It was not appropriate. It was not a healthy way of dealing with my grief at the time. I wasn't able to spend time alone with my thoughts, alone with my emotions. And I would walk and walk and walk, and God knows how I did not get an injury, to be quite honest. Excessive exercise and working as many hours, and I was also studying, and it was just another form, like we spoke about before, another form of distraction, another form of keeping myself busy. I was in so much emotional pain that if I could just exert my body enough and keep my body, my physical body, moving and my brain active with, whether that work, study, this kind of stuff. It was me trying to fill that void. And as I clearly said in my journal, nothing changes this void. So you may be feeling something similar, or you may have felt something similar in the past. And I just want to say that that's completely normal. It's completely normal. We're trying to adjust to life without our companion animals, and these are our best friends. I mean, we can't just return back to our normal routine, our normal way of living, our normal sense of self. That's not possible. It really isn't. It's not possible. And when it's so fresh and so raw, it just hurts so much. And I do want to highlight the positive from this journal entry, which is I am trying to look after my health as much as possible, as my body is all I have left. Now, when I say that and then I follow it with I love this body, that is a big positive that I can take from that. And also I can take that some of that is not factual when I say that my body is all I have left. Obviously that's not factual. That is how I felt at the time. I mean, I have had my friends and my family and so many other good things in my life. But when we're in the depths of grief, it's really hard to focus or recognise or have awareness of those good things. So I just want to highlight that in case you're also, telling yourself that narrative at the minute. Yes, my body has endured such pain and loss, and it still gets me up in the morning. There are some mornings that I did not want to get up. I did not want to get up out of that bed. And some mornings I didn't, and that's okay. That is perfectly okay. That is grief. That is normal to feel that way. It really, really is. The fact that I showed myself some acknowledgement, some self-compassion within this journal entry is what I want to focus on for this week, that I am trying to look after my health as much as possible. I remember feeding myself nutritious food, making green juices, trying to fuel myself with good, plant-based, healthy kind of food, and doing the best that I could, lots of fruit and veg and so on. And because I suppose I didn't want my body to suffer, because I was thankful that my body was getting me up in the morning. Even though I had no understanding as to how it was, to be honest, with the amount of emotional pain that I was in. And where I have come from this is just so far now. I have so much awareness of how I wasn't dealing with my loss experience, healthily or effectively. I was burying and I was suppressing, and it does show that. It does show that I was. And saying that I'm not coping with life in general, that is so common. So many of my clients say that to me. They say that I can't navigate life the way I was able to before, Louise, and I'm struggling to cope with things that I could cope with before. This is so common, and I just want you to acknowledge, if you're feeling that way, please show yourself some kindness. Just show yourself some kindness. You've been through such a horrendous major loss experience in your life, and acknowledging that you've been through that is the first step. And also, as I keep harping on about, and you will hear me do this each week, take another first step, which is going to be get that journal, take that pen and start writing. Just anything. Just start writing what you're feeling. What emotions are going through you today? What emotions are going through you this week? Get those out on paper. It doesn't matter what format. It doesn't matter what kind of paper, journal. If it's a pencil, it doesn't make a blind bit of difference just to do that. Just to get those thoughts out of the brain and onto the paper. To try and interrupt that narrative that you were having. That narrative similar to mine when I read that, I've not been coping well with life in general. Back then I should have followed up with a sentence. Why do I feel I am not coping with life in general? Why? Because I've gone through the worst experience of my whole entire life so far. The most painful experience, more painful than any breakups or any family, friends, issues, anything in my whole life. This was the worst. And I didn't know how to deal with it or cope or process it and all of the things that we're supposed to do. But I did know, and many of you do know, how to suppress it, how to push it down, how to just get on with things. This is what we learn. This is all that we've learned growing up in childhood. It's a pity that we didn't learn, the polar opposite to that, which is what you're doing now by listening to this podcast, by the way. Just wanted to let you know that. If you are listening and you are also, trying to prioritize your health during this difficult time, which can be really, really difficult to do, trying to take care of yourself and prioritize any part of your life when you're grieving is a task in itself, a mammoth task. So if there is something that you can do to thank your body for getting you up in the morning, whether you're going to work or study or whatever you may be doing, if there's something that you can do to say thank you to your body and be kind to your body, do that. Whether that's drinking a green juice, whether that's going for a long walk in nature, whether that's a long soak in the bath, whether that is absolutely giving yourself, a social media detox, anything to be kind to your body, to rest your nervous system, because it's just hyper sensitive. Your nervous system is absolutely on fire, if I could visualize it while you're grieving. I'm glad that I shared that journal entry with you this week. I'm also glad that I have highlighted that there was a positive in this, that I was giving myself compassion and showing myself that I love my body. It has endured such pain and loss. And your body has also endured such pain and loss. But look what it does. It gets you up every single morning. This week, show yourself and your body some compassion and some kindness and some self-love, because that's what you deserve. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this week's episode. Remember, your pet loss grief is real and it is so valid. Please be gentle on yourself. Until next time, take care.